Hi, I'm Laura. Thank you for joining us for another episode of Shakespeare's Aura. And this is
Michelle?
and you can find us on our new website, which is www.forunitycommunity.org. There's a lot going on that website, and if you're attracted to this video, then I can guarantee that you would be attracted to that website. Anyway, I wanted to chat to you, right?
Mm-hmm.
On a Saturday, I went down to London, and on the train down, there was a nice black couple sitting opposite me. They were young, um, so she was younger, and I think maybe he was in his 20s. Maybe they were both in their 20s. I'd say mid to early 20s, right? And I just asked them a question. I basically said, do you think that black people could ever be united?
Right.
And they didn't really want to talk to me. That was painfully obvious.
Was it?
Yeah, it was obvious. Yeah. But it's all right because, they don't know who I am.
Yeah. Obviously not.
Yeah, obviously. That's their mistake. They're failing. So, I was like, do you think that we could ever be united? And, they were both like, no.
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 Just like that?
Yeah,
right.
no.
Okay.
So I was like, oh, okay, why is that? And he was like, trust. Black people just don't trust each other. We just don't trust. So I was like, oh, right, okay. So, can you think of some sort of ways to, and I had to keep on saying, I'm not going to talk for long. Just, can you think of any ways that we can, kind of be united and that? And then somehow we started talking about the education side of things. And he was saying to go into prisons maybe. But to educate people there. But I got my cue that that's it, So I just went back to my knitting because, what else could I do?
Yeah.
So I'm going to ask you the question. Do you think that black people could ever really, truly be united?
I think, although they didn't want to talk to you, they actually offered quite a valid point. And a fundamental one, actually. I think they're right. I think trust is a really big factor within our community in terms of us uniting with each other. We're so disunited and so many things out there that are divisive and that, are purposely divisive so that we won't unite and that causes distrust between us. I think I've mentioned before about our hyper awareness of our race, and I think some of that can come into it as well. So, for instance, if I was to try and start up a business and I had a partner, something went wrong, I might put that down to, oh, you see black people, you can't trust them. You see black people, you go into business with them and look at how they go on. However, would I not be wrong? Because there's a lot of white con artists, Asian con artists, there's con artists of all colours, there's untrustworthy people of all races and colours. But because of my hyper awareness of my race, I would allocate that to blackness. And therefore I might then decide I'll never go into business with a black person again because I made a mistake once. And so that goes into our way of thinking that has been, it's been purposely influenced that way so that we don't trust each other, so that we're always allocating negative patterns of behaviour to our race rather than just saying, you know what, that happened because that person is dishonest.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I get you. We are very quick, or rather, there have been times when, somebody will tell me a story and I'll be like, black, white, Asian.
Yeah.
Exactly. And it's like at that point you kind of can categorise what your opinion is going to be of that person.
Absolutely.
And it's I suppose we just fall under the stereotype, don't we?
Yeah.
And we revert to the stereotypes that have been created for us, not actually by us.
Exactly. And I think that's a good point, is that I do that also, is that when we want to know the race, and so that we can put the person into a box and put all the other implications and connotations with it. And it's not to say that, different cultures and different races don't have behaviours and modes of behaviour that, are particular to them. In kind of our society today, it doesn't hold water so much. And for instance, if a white person was to be in that exact same circumstance, they wouldn't say, the reason this guy done this is because he's white.
Yeah.
They'd never say that.
Yeah.
In a million years.
Yeah.
And actually, they don't do that with anything. If their daughter's raped, they don't say, and it was a white man, it's because this guy was white.
No.
They don't think like that because their race is invisible.
Yeah,
Whiteness is invisible. It doesn't exist in that way.
Yeah.
But ours does, and it's purposely done that way so that we can put negative behaviours and accord them with our race.
Yeah, it's funny, that you say that, because it's like there are some things that happen, like you might hear of something happening in the news, and you'd be like, oh, that wasn't a black crime.
Yeah, exactly.
Or like there was that one, I can't remember. There was this woman that was killed. I can't remember now. It's a little while ago, and the name of the guy that killed her was something Belfield, but he had a heavy name like Winston Belvedere Belfield or something like that. I really can't remember now. And he was a white guy.
Yeah, but what was the assumption?
Straight up, that with a name that heavy, that's a black man, And it's like, this has got to stop, innit?
Well, it wasn't until recently that the news actually. I remember a time when the news reporting used to say if a crime was committed by a black guy, it would say a black man, 19-year-old, whatever. And if it was a white man, it would just say man 34 and so on. It certainly wouldn't say white man.
Yeah.
And that's the thing also. But so I do think that hyper awareness of our race sometimes is what causes us to distrust each other. And I suppose our community also is fractured in a way that it's hard to kind of build up trust. How do you build up trust if your community isn't tight?
Right, yeah, because we have so many inter black names for each other as well, don't we? Like that one over there will be a Smalley. That African over there, and we divide ourselves.
We do divide ourselves. And I think the thing is if you look at the Asian community, I mean, they're like that. They have a caste system. They are divided in Muslim, Sikh, whatever, and then even within that,
jobs and
exactly, and so forth. But what they have is obviously very tight family structures, and we don't necessarily have that. So we have to, like you say, kind of go beyond that because we don't have those tight family structures like they do, and they can afford to discriminate to a certain extent. We can't. So we can't do the small island thing and the ghetto, that black person's ghetto, and we're distinguished. We have to kind of transcend that type of thing. But I think it's very hard because I think it's within our mentality. I think that's the way we think. And it's very difficult especially when it comes to money, because we are not as economically stable as other races also. There's a lot of risk. If we're going to try and trust, if we were going to come together in terms of business, for instance, there's risk involved. And when it's monetary risk, because we don't have that much to fall back on, trust then becomes a massive thing.
Yeah. But it's funny though, isn't it? Because partners work.
True. Yeah. For the most part, they do.
You don't really hear about partners that don't work. You don't often hear about anybody who's run off with the money. When they
don't work, they fall down pretty quickly. But a lot of partners have been established for decades, really long time. And you're right, they do work.
Yeah.
And I suppose maybe it would be interesting to actually look at how that works and how that trust, because that's trust, isn't it?
Yeah.
Underlining that is a really big part of trust. And some partners are really big.
Yeah.
And they're involving a lot of people who are trusting each other.
Yeah.
To pay on time, trusting the banker, I forget what the name is, to share out the money.
Yeah.
And as you said, not run away with it. There's trust there. So we can do it.
We can do it. And I think that's big. But I think that's often a case of the person who runs the partner is often like in their 60s, 70s, 80s, and they've watched these people grow up,
True.
And their parents have given to that same person all the time, and it's just sort of gone on like that.
But also, I suppose, the thing with a partner also is what you're getting out of it is yours. What you're getting out of it is yours. I don't know if we think big enough and we kind of can delay our gratification enough to put into something that is for the community and for everyone rather than just for ourselves.
That's it. I've been thinking about that, because I don't know how much you're aware of it, but I'm trying to start this organisation now called the Melanites, and we would need to have some kind of money rolling,
Yeah.
and it's like, well, okay, so if we were to do it on a partner kind of basis, but then, okay, we would have to have something that we were actually aiming for, because nobody would actually be getting the money for themselves at the end of the day.
Exactly.
So it's like with partners, you give the money to get that payback,
and to go on holiday or to buy a washing machine or whatever.
There
you
you
do
go,
it.
yeah.
You do it for a specific purpose, and I don't know that
Yeah.
we're used to doing something that is completely is altruistic. The word, or but it's about the community rather than just getting something tangible out of it.
Because I hate to sort of use Asian people as a guideline, but if somebody sees a shop that they want, then they can sort of club together with everybody else. Yeah. Even if that means that they go and get a loan, but then it's paid off like within weeks, because
that's the thing, and that's what I think. I don't think there's anything wrong with using them as an example, because they've got their issues, and the places where they are successful, there's other places where they're just completely unsuccessful. Yeah. But you can look at the places where they are successful and say, well, that is because of that reason, as you said, because they are so tight that they know that they fall down and they can call on a brother, uncle, cousin, and their links to their country as well is very strong. So if their business needs a waiter, they can call a person over to come and do that. Well, with the immigration laws, maybe not so easily now, but you know what I'm saying. They find a way. But that comes from they weren't necessarily always like that. They've come together, they've got the community, they've got the family, or maybe they were like that and they brought that.
Yeah.
Also, and we haven't brought that.
The kids know that when they get to a certain age, it's lock off and shut down time, and I'm going to work in the family.
Exactly. And they're just I think we have become, because I don't think it's just us that is like that as black people. I think white people in this country are like that also, and that's why they get so kind of uptight about the Eastern European people coming here taking our jobs, when really a lot of those people came here and started businesses that white and black people never thought of starting. Look at the amount of car washes now. Look at things like that. They couldn't do anything, so they thought, you know what, I'm going to get a bucket, some water, a sponge, and make a business out of that. Do you know, it's the ingenuity. It's that mindset where I don't have anything, but I'm alive. So I can make for myself. And there's a lot of white people and black people that don't have that mindset, which is when we see them coming over and doing things like that, we hate on them.
So we've become complacent. Black people and white people
have become very complacent and looked after in a society that looks after you no matter what. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, because black people came over, we worked. But as we've worked, we've settled, and we've, even though we sort of like look at our home country as our home country, we're here now, and we're settled. Claiming benefits or going to work, living,
something which our parents, and especially my mum's parents, never would have thought of doing. Claiming benefits and being looked after in that way. It was work. And that's kind of what we've lost. It's that, and it's not even, I suppose maybe that's the issue, is that they worked. They had jobs. They worked for the government. A lot of them worked on the trains, for instance. It wasn't necessarily their own businesses, and maybe that's where they missed it, and so we missed it, because what Asians did is they came over and all the English corner shops disappeared. Why? Because they were now corner shop people. So they were business people. They didn't just come and work for people. They came and made businesses
from the very
start. And
so
their kids just has that in their mindset. Whereas our parents didn't do that. They worked. They grafted. Which means even those of us that took on that work ethic took on more a grafting work ethic than we can create it ourselves.
I'll give you an example. When it was the 7/7 bombings happened. My friend was working in Croydon, and I called her up and I said to her, don't go into work today, because they're bombing the underground, and I wouldn't be surprised if there was something waiting in your place of work for you, or for you and your colleagues. She called up her dad, and her dad was like, go to work. Go to work. I was like, sugar. And she was like, you know what? As far as some people are concerned, it doesn't actually matter. Or as far as our elder generation are concerned,
It's a work ethic,
yeah,
very strong.
it's literally die hard.
Yeah, very
Literally.
strong work ethic. But unfortunately, all of that energy and all of that grafting, just like we saw with the white people who put it into the mining and so on,
Yeah.
when you're working for people, people can cut you off.
Yeah.
People can lay you off, should I say.
Yeah.
They can sack you. And that is that and because we didn't, and that's the point, is that with the Asian community and with other communities now, especially in London, with the Turkish restaurants everywhere and so on, and like I said, these car washes up here, these people are understanding the concept and the benefits to be gained from working for yourself. And that's what we need to really, I suppose, not only, because I think a lot of us are getting to that stage now and have done, you know, there's a lot of black businesses out there, but it's the thing of those black businesses linking together and us as a people making it not so much my business but a community thing where we feed into each other and support each other.
So it comes down to trust again, isn't it?
It does.
Trust and money.
Trust and money, which are, it's always going to be hard.
You see, like, if that train that I'd been on, you know, with that couple sitting in front of me, if it had derailed or there was some sort of a crash or whatever, right, I would be looking to, if I had it in my capacity, I'd be looking to save them.
Yeah.
No questions asked. Sugar.
Pause.
Gosh, yeah.